All right. Hi, it's me, Bill Patton again. And yeah. Uh, hey, if you're liking these videos, then use your social digital currency and press the like button, share it with friends. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, brainsports.coach. Bill Patton. Anyway, today's talk is about pulling the string using different speeds of shots to throw your opponent off. And we're going to talk a little bit about the principles of that, but then also about a particular story. So I'm going to save the story for last. Now, no matter what kind of style you're playing, no matter what your major strategy is, whether you're a power player, whether you're pressuring time and space, pressuring movement, disrupting rhythm, especially, or even if you're just running around hitting one more shot, the counterpunching baseliner, you can use change of pace. So it's not that hard, and it's a nice ingredient. It's a tactic that can work with every strategy. So with the power player, you don't have to hit the ball as hard as you can all the time. In fact, it's not advisable. It's been shown that the player that hits the ball slowly, more slowly than the other player, wins 80% of the matches, right? Because what do you really want to do? You want to hit it as hard as you can in. Good thing I can do that from here. I like to keep alarms on and stuff and have something go wrong in my live video just pretty much every time because, I don't know, it's just more entertaining that way. So if you're a power player, let's say you're serving and you're hitting a lot of serves about 110, and that's not your full speed, then, as a surprise, then, once a game, you can come with a little bit more. You can go 113, 115. Right? If you've got that speed. So hold a little something back so that you can be a little faster. And then sometimes when you hit that serve just a little bit more slowly, because, you're the power player, so they're gearing up to try to catch up to your shot. And then when you all of a sudden hit the ball, 10 miles an hour more slowly, now they're going to be out in front of it. So you used your power to create a challenge, and then they are starting to meet that challenge. You use a slower speed and you throw them off, right? Pressuring time and space, also the same thing. I mean, if you're hitting decently, firmly, and you're stepping into the court a little bit, you can also back up and give them more time than they want. Back up and hit a higher, softer shot, because pressuring time and space doesn't always mean taking it away. It can mean giving them more than they want. If you're pressuring movement, right, then, obviously your faster shot is going to be the one that goes deep cross court, and your slower shot is going to be the one that goes to a target on, short angle to the other side. I had a team that was almost all made up of ranked USTA juniors. I think every single member of my varsity had a ranking. So they're all tournament players. And there were 3 different academies that were, that were represented. So there were 3 different junior tennis academies that were well noted, for creating lots of good players. And so I've got my top singles players, and I'm trying to get them to hit a top spin shot that goes to short angle. And they were all hitting it way too hard. so they're missing the shot. And I'm like, nobody ever taught you to hit the ball a little more slowly when you're going for an angle? Your high school coach had to teach you this, right? But you spend thousands and thousands of dollars at these academies, but they couldn't teach you that really important thing that will make you a winner. So So a funny thing happened, all my singles players pretty much mastered this shot of hitting a slow rolling topspin shot that goes to the side tee, pulling the player massively off the court, and then going deep, faster shot to the opposite side, creating a massive movement, right? Because you're gonna have to run 5 more feet for that next ball. And then, with the player who disrupts rhythm, I mean, that's like a really steady part of it, is that you don't want to hit 2 shots the same speed. You can. I mean, if you're hitting the same speed, then you're changing something else up. You're changing the spin or the height. But changing speeds constantly gives the other player like almost no rhythm. And then finally, with the player who's just running around, trying to hit one more shot back, if you're just really not hitting the ball that hard and you're keeping it nice and deep and all that, and every once in a while you try for a little bit more or you go for a little bit less, you can throw the other player's rhythm off too a little bit. But obviously, if that's how desperate you are, you're probably not thinking that way. So here's an interesting thing. So I had my number 1 player in my high school team, and he and I used to play some practice sets because I was the only one that could challenge him. And I had never lost a set to him, but he kept getting closer and closer. I think so. The second to the last time I played him, I beat him 6-4. So one thing that I've been working on with him is a change of speed on serving. And consider this closely. All right. So there are a couple of times that are really advantageous and disadvantageous when you're serving. All right. So the number 1 thing is when you have game point. All right. That's the biggest advantage that you have. So game point, because you can win the game and close out that serve. Pardon me. So you can close out that serve game. But then, the disadvantageous one is when they have break point. So when it's that, this is a good time to, pull out on game point, pull out that serve that's either faster, a little bit faster, or a little bit slower than what you've been doing, or putting a little bit different spin on it. So when I have a game point, I like to show that player a spin that they haven't seen before. And so that's my pulling the string on that one. So, they've seen all of my other serves, but now I carve it just like a little bit differently. And then the next time I have game point, I might go more over the top of the ball than I have. And so all of a sudden they're in defense mode and they're looking for what they think is my most common serve. And then all of a sudden they get something different. And that's been shown to be pretty highly effective. Now, the other one is this. I don't know why I'm so tired. Anyway, I guess it's the coffee thing. But anyway, so my iPad might go out anytime. I'm down to 10% battery, but if I just suddenly disappear, then you know why. So on break point, what's the other guy thinking? What's the other woman thinking? The other person on the other side? What are they thinking? They're thinking, this is my big chance, right? So they get break point against you, and then they're getting a little more wound up, and they're ready to pounce on something. So that's when I like to go with a really soft serve. It's amazing how many times somebody's really, when you're playing and you got break point against you and the other player's all amped up and they're ready to go, and then you throw a serve in there that's 15, 20 miles an hour slower than anything you've hit. it's going to be really hard for them to tee off on it because it just isn't there when they are expecting it there. And the thing that happens the most commonly is they blast it into the middle of the net. And so I taught that. Oh man, what is going on with me? Thanks for tuning in and watching this embarrassing display of yawning in the middle of my live video. Anyway, so I taught my number one player this, and he was practicing, changing things up at different times. So we're playing this practice set, and I've got break point, and he did it perfectly. He suckered me. I was like all geared up, ready to attack, and then he hit this softie, and I blasted it into the middle of the net, and I went, oh no, I've created a monster. And then he won. That was his first set that he ever won against me. And I don't know. We never played again. It wasn't necessarily because I lost that we didn't play again. It was just, I think that was his final season playing with me, and that was late in the season, and that was it. But there is some satisfaction. There's a lot of satisfaction to when you're playing pretty well yourself. And then you can train somebody who then can beat you and beat you at your own game. So I took a lot of satisfaction out of that. But the point being, so here are a couple of takeaways that you can get from this. Number one, you most likely don't want to hit the ball at your top speed, even if you are a power player. You're almost always going to want to add some top spin to make your shots go in. And then save that little extra for when you need it. Because when you get a ball that's just right in your wheelhouse and you're like, okay, I can tee off on this one, then you can do that, and you've got that little extra more. You've got that, this amp goes to 11. So I don't know if you've seen Spinal Tap, and he says, and he has this amplifier, and he goes, it goes to 11, right? And then the mockumentarian says, well, why don't you just keep it on 9, and then when you want it to be louder, then go to 10. And then the guy goes, but this one goes to 11. So you want to be able to hold something back for a big moment. Think about that Djokovic humongous forehand that he hit against Federer in the semifinals of the U.S. Open in 2011. I think that was 2011. So that was big. That was like one of the most huge moments for Djokovic, and he went for it. So you gotta hold a little something back, and then with other strategies, if you're pressuring time and space, it's the giving of time. But then you could go even closer forward to take some time away. So where you stand in the court has a lot to do with that. You can stand where you're a little bit more comfortable, at the baseline, or you can stand another foot in and you might be a little bit less comfortable, but you're going to take more time away. Or you can stand 1 or 2 more feet closer, and it might be difficult for you, but it's going to be even more difficult for them. So that's one way you can do that. And then if you're pressuring movement, you need to be able to hit a slower ball for it to land shorter in the court, or you're going to be making some errors wide on your can opener shot. So, and then, with serving, I like to do something different or hit a little bit harder on a game point. And then, pull that string on a break point because, they're so geared up. You can really sucker them. And then, that can even have a really negative effect on them moving forward. If they had a break point and then you sucker them and they blast one in the net, they might not recover mentally for a couple of points. So it's possible you could have them vulnerable for another point or two, and then that allows you to get back to having a game point again. So it's a big deal. And I've seen games turn around pretty quickly because one player suckered the other one, and then the other one was not able to recover very quickly. So anyway, go out there, pull the string. This is a Tennis Strategy 301 presentation, and remember to spend your social digital currency. Make sure that you're tipping your wait staff. Oh, I just realized I was at the coffee shop this morning and I didn't tip. Shame on me. So I will go back later and make sure I do that. But yep, tip people. If you're on YouTube here, you can look down below and you can see some links to my books and all that fun stuff. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.